One more question from Larry at Podega here. They've been seeing a lot of questions about dogs and cats with pancreatitis. Would you recommend healthy gut over Soylent C if the customer only wants to choose one probiotic?
For pancreatitis?
Yes.
No, I would probably start with Soylent C.
Perfect.
So, and the reason that I'm saying that is because we've gotten two really incredible in a really, really fast amount of time from the I think it's called the EPI, the Pancreatic Insufficiency Facebook page. There's a big, huge Facebook page where people support each other through this really difficult diagnosis or difficult syndrome that dogs can get. And there's this one girl, she's been working with, specialists for a really long time, and she's never been able to get her dog's stool normal. Like, it gets better and it gets worse, but it's never normal. And since she's been using that, the Soylent C, it's like her dog is for the first time in the dog's life has normal stools. And when you think of pancreas and you think of this, I don't think pancreatitis is a very loosely used term, and it can be for many, many reasons. I think, I think that dry kibble, if people are trying to support their customers with dogs that have chronic pancreatitis, dry kibble is probably one of the worst things because it dehydrates it and affects the islets of the pancreas. So it's not even like from a nutritional point of view, but from a point of view of hydration and the body becoming dehydrated because the dry food sort of, it systemically dehydrates them. So it can be the lowest fat dry food on the planet, and the dog will still get chronic pancreatitis because of the lack of hydration. So there's a lot more information and stuff going out there, but if they have chronic pancreatitis and they just want to buy one probiotic, I would start with Soylent C, see what happens, and then the next time they come and purchase something, I would probably give them the wolf strain, and then the next time they come, like I would if they're only wanting to buy one thing at a time, it's a really great way of starting one and seeing what happens, and then you can also use that almost like a pseudo diagnosis. Like, I know you're not vets and you're not supposed to say that you can diagnose, but you can look at some poop and you can say that poop is better or worse. And I think that using that one, starting and using that one first and then going from there, and if the dog stools get a lot better on that one, then I would be looking at staying at that one, because chances are it's not true pancreatitis and it's actually SIBO that's causing the pancreatitis. Like, does the dog have pancreatitis? It does, but what came first?
I have two things real quick on that.
Yeah.
Number one, I'm a big fan of Larry from Podega, so shout out to Larry. Just throwing that out there. Number two, to relate that back to I should say the whole Podega crew. So I'm not keeping anyone out, but just a fan in general. But that, to relate that in a way that I think people see all the time. So go back to the story you always hear about pancreatitis. What is it? It's the dry fed dog that got into turkey fat at Thanksgiving and all of a sudden goes into pancreatitis. Was it the turkey fat? No, it was the fact that the pancreas was constantly stressed every day from both dehydration and high carbohydrate content load. And then, boom, you hit it with a bunch of fat and it puts it over the edge. So what they're finding now with newer research is it's not necessarily the fat, it's the carbohydrates, it's exactly what you're talking about. So I think that's one way to, you know, I've been dealing with dogs on higher fat diets for years, and they do very, very well as long as there's the relevant moisture and the carbohydrates are low. I mean, it doesn't, any dog can get pancreatitis technically on any food, but it really lowers the chances. So just a way to think about it, because that's what people talk about all the time. Don't give your dog people food or else it's going to get pancreatitis, but that's really why. It's because you gave it dog food is ironically the reason why.
Yeah. And even dog food, the way they give dog food, like dogs aren't supposed to be grazers, right? So it taxes the energy. Like when you talk about qi and Chinese medicine, having a dog graze like a cow or a cat graze like a cow. Cows and horses have to graze because they don't have any natural motility. So they need to be eating constantly to digest and push their manure through. Whereas the opposite with dogs, they're supposed to sort of like gorge when they kill something and then sleep. So feeding them, especially cats, like 90% of the cats out there have free choice food, right? They just have kibble in front of them 24/7. And people are getting away from that with dogs, but they used to have dry kibble out and, oh yeah, he just free choice feeds.
Mhm.
And the energy of the pancreas having to produce and go through its entire process every hour or every 25 minutes or 7 times a day or whatever, it energetically affects the pancreas in a really negative way. So, but yeah, I mean, Sarah Griffith, who's part of our team, she's really amazing too. She sent me a study, I think about 4 years ago, about pancreatitis, and it was every single solitary thing was sugar and hydration, everything. Yeah. So it's a big misconception of what causes pancreatitis and how do you fix pancreatitis, and
Well,
that answers their question.